The UFC currently plays host to 11 divisions across 8 weight classes, but that hasn't stopped fans from suggesting that the promotion add to its roster in the coming years. Today, we look at some of the divisions not currently used by the UFC and the chances of them one day appearing in the Octagon. Welcome to the INC, and these are 5 of the UFC's missing weight classes. The introduction of a 165 division has long been a talking point for MMA fans. Known as light welterweight or super lightweight, 165 has been used in regional promotions for several years. King of the Cage have held fights in the class since 2008, with Bobby Green, Tim Means, and Billy Quarantillo some of the notable names to hold gold in the yellow cage. It wasn't until 2018 that interest in the division peaked, when Kevin Lee challenged Rafael dos Anjos to contest their match at Fight Night Rochester at 165 pounds, hoping to use the match to coax UFC bosses to consider introducing the class. Lee had been one of the most notorious tweeners in the UFC, undersized compared to his welterweight rivals, but undergoing several health risks getting down to 155. With lightweight and welterweight boasting a flood of top talent, Lee believed the weight class could be introduced without watering down its established peers, and was more than confident about how he'd fare should the class be introduced.
At the end of the day, once we cut out all the promotion and we cut out all the lawyer speak and all the back and forth, I'm the most dangerous man in the world who's willing to weigh in at 165.
Appropriately, Lee was part of the highest profile match in 165 history when he took on MMA veteran Diego Sanchez for Khabib Nurmagomedov's Eagle FC. Lee claimed a workhorse win over the Ultimate Fighter legend, but poor fan reaction along with Eagle's financial issues meant plans for a full weight class were put on hold. 165 entered the public discussion again this year, when rumors spread that Conor McGregor's match with Michael Chandler would take place at the weight as a means of introducing the class to the UFC. Although, given the trouble getting that fight off the ground, never-ending weight would seem more appropriate. I'll see myself out. Strawweight has long been considered one of the most popular women's divisions in the UFC, but few fans know the class isn't just for the ladies. At 115 pounds, strawweight is the smallest men's division recognized by the unified rules of MMA, with the division noted for its fast-paced scrambles and constant momentum shifts between fights. Strawweight has been featured most prevalently in the pioneering promotion Pancrase, where Mitsuhisa Tsunabe defeated Hiroyuki Abe to become the promotion's first champion in 2015. Tsunabe would defend the title on 2 occasions, part of a 16-fight winning streak dating back to 2011. While largely popular, strawweight has often been a victim of its own circumstance, as the stresses placed on fighters to make the limit meant many chose to compete at flyweight or simply leave the promotion altogether. One such example came in 2011, when Kaito Yamakita accepted an offer with 1 championship while still holding the Pancrase strawweight title. Yamakita's defection led to the class being on hold for 2 years, when Ryohei Kurosawa reignited the class in brutal fashion at Pancrase 342.
Hato was having none of it, backed off, found himself on the end of the right hand of Kurosawa. Lights out, sent to the Shadow Realm.
The only example of a strawweight bout in an American promotion came in 2019, when former UFC fighter Jared Brooks took on Haru Ochi on the post limbs of Bellator 237. Brooks would win a grappling heavy bout by unanimous decision, and at the time of writing remains unbeaten competing at 115. From the smallest men's division in MMA, we turn our attention to the heaviest. Super heavyweight has been a fixture of Japanese MMA since its inception. Due to not being obligated by law to implement weight classes, such fighters were often pitted against smaller but more skilled opponents in attraction bouts, with 600-pound sumo wrestler Emmanuel Yarborough becoming an infamous name of the late 90s. Although not formally recognized by the unified rules, several promotions have attempted to create super heavyweight champions. King of the Cage and WEC experimented with the class in the early 2000s, while Mariusz Pudzianowski and 400-pound boxer Butterbean were beloved fixtures of the regional scene. Even former UFC champion Tim Sylvia competed in the class in the later years of his career, before being denied a license after weighing 370 pounds for a match in 2015. Although popular with fans, super heavyweight has been derided for its poor talent level, with most of its matches being of low quality and often embarrassing against smaller competition. This was best seen in the Japanese promotion Dream, when an 8-man tournament designed for super heavyweights was won by middleweight journeyman Ikehisa Minowa, beating the likes of Bob Sapp, Hongman Choi, and baseball star Jose Canseco en route to the title. Wait, that can't be right. The most infamous super heavyweight was former NFL star Bob Sapp. Once considered one of the scariest men in MMA, Sapp became a punchline due to his willingness to give up at the first sign of resistance, often pocketing a huge upfront fee in the process. Sapp would lose 14 fights in a row in MMA promotions around the world, finally breaking his duck in 2018 against Egyptian sumo wrestler Osunarashi, although the victory proved more laborious than it should have.
Osunarashi's barely moving. Bob's just gonna throw a puncher to the body.
He's exhausted.
2 minutes, he can barely stand up Osunarashi. Bob Sapp barely has the strength and stamina to finish him.
Super heavyweight recently garnered focus again this year, when former World's Strongest Man Eddie Hall competed in a handicap match for the World Freak Fight League, with a finish matching the absurdity of the fight itself.
Eddie Hall! Oh! The right hand left for Eddie Hall! He's knocked him out! One shot! It's all it took!
The UFC's heavier women's divisions have often been criticized for their lack of top-level talent, so imagine how sparse women's heavyweight would be. Heavyweight was a part of women's MMA from the very beginning, when 300-pound Svetlana Bondarenko competed in the first sanctioned women's MMA tournament in 1995. The former Olympian going on to win the contest in a field largely consisting of Japanese pro wrestlers. Bondarenko announced her retirement after suffering her first career loss in 2000, a result that would signal the sport's shift away from heavier weight classes. It was the emergence of Gabby Garcia that sparked the modern wave of women's heavyweights. Garcia transitioned to MMA after an acclaimed career in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and under the guidance of training partner Vanderlei Silva, signed for the Japanese promotion Rizin in 2015. Garcia currently holds a 6-0 record in Japan, with her matches considered some of the company's biggest attractions, although not entirely for the right reasons.
Oh, to throw wrestling. Putting on a show here is Yumiko Hotta. Oh, and she's caught!
The closest thing that American fans have to a women's heavyweight division comes in the B2 Fight Series in Kentucky, which hosted matches for former football player Mackenzie Big Mac Brooks. Brooks's fights quickly went viral on social media, and while her skill set was nothing to write home about, it's safe to say she's already nailed the post-fight interview.
If you're a woman and you want to fight, do it. I don't care how much you weigh, what you look like, what your goals in life are, do it. Because I'm a living example. I went from 350 pounds to 265. Anything is possible.
The division with the best chance of joining the UFC is the 105-pound atomweight division. Atomweight is considered the strongest weight class outside the UFC, with promotions in Europe, Asia, and North America playing host to the class with critical success. The largest of these is the all-female promotion Invicta. The company has held atomweight bouts since its first event in 2012, with several of its stars going on to find success in the UFC. Jessica Penne became the company's first atomweight champion before being succeeded by Michelle Waterson, with their match at Invicta 5 regarded as the greatest fight in company history. Atomweight played host to MMA history in 2022 when 37-year-old Jillian DeCourcy claimed an upset win over Jessica Delboni at Invicta 49. The win saw DeCourcy become the oldest woman to win a title in a major promotion, a record that still stands at the time of writing.
A submission in the first round from Jillian Lionheart to Corsi to take the belt in stunning fashion.
Atomweight's biggest star is Japanese fighter Seika Izawa. The 26-year-old signed for Rizin after an acclaimed judo career, and quickly made waves when she beat longtime champion Ayaka Hamasaki in only her 5th pro fight. Izawa added to her portfolio with the strawweight and atomweight belts for the all-female promotion Jules, making her one of the few 3-division champions in MMA history. Atomweight's case for joining the UFC has been helped by Laura Sanko. The UFC commentator competed at atomweight during her own brief MMA career, and has spoken at length on what she believes the division can add to the promotion.
If you're looking to tap into markets like
like China, like the rest of Asia, there are a lot of atomweight women over there. And there are a lot in the United States as well. I think they're really exciting fighters. There are a surprising number of finishers. You're not going to see a ton of one-punch knockouts, but it's like the flyweights of women. They're fast and they're fun to watch.
Izawa currently holds an undefeated record at the time of recording, while Invicta continued its association with the class when it hosted its first event for 8 months earlier this year. And now, time for a few honorable mentions. At 95 pounds, women's microweight is currently the smallest recognized weight class in MMA, but that doesn't stop the ladies from packing a serious punch. Rich Franklin's penchant for 195-pound catchweight bouts led to the class jokingly being referred to as Franklin weight. Anthony Johnson is credited with introducing Rumble weight, 10 pounds higher than what was originally scheduled. This is the INC. Please like, share, and subscribe. Post your feedback in the comments and donate to our Patreon page for hours of exclusive content.